Disparities. To start our show, we have two specialists, Grecia Villatoro and Amilcar Fuentes, who will be talking about China's development, but more specifically showing indicators like the GDP and the labor force in the country.
The GDP or GDP is the total measure of the total income of the country. This would mean all the products sold by the country as exports. This is positively correlated to the standard of living of the people of the country. This means that as GDP of the country increases, so does the standard of living of the people. This is a problem when the GDP of the country is low, then the people suffer. A low GDP would mean inflation in the country for the primary goods. This would mean starvation and more.
What I'm principally trying to do is analyzing China's regional disparity in a framework of convergence with the classical theory of growth, such as productivity of agricultural labor, as an index of labor market distortion to see the impact of difference in the market among regions and its growth performance. In Beijing, a survey was conducted by the China Economic Monitoring and Analyzing Center, and they predicted that the rising unemployment would be the biggest challenge for China's economy this year. The survey showed that more than 90% of the 100 economists that were surveyed expressed their worries over the country's increasing unemployment rate, which had added hooks to a world economic downturn. But first of all, we need to be clear on what unemployment and labor force mean. Labor force is the population 15 years old and over who contribute to the production of goods and services in the country. It includes those who are either employed or unemployed. And unemployment is an economic condition marked by the fact that individuals actively seeking jobs remain unhired. Unemployment is expressed as a percentage of the total available workers. The level of unemployment varies with economic conditions and other circumstances. The government estimates about 20 million rural migrants, of 15.3% of all rural workers employed outside their hometowns that have returned home without jobs. Meanwhile, urban unemployment rate, which excludes migrant workers, was estimated to hit 4.6% in 2009, up from 4.2% in the fourth quarter of 2008. The number reflects the harder than expected blow from the global financial crisis. Tang Min, Deputy Secretary of the China Development Research Foundation, that was quoted by China's dailies as saying, "Worldwide global financial crisis has put the country's economic growth under great pressure, and China's economy cooled to its slowest pace in 7 years in 2008, expanding 9% year-on-year according to data released by the NBS. The unemployment decreased in China in a way that its economy was affected too, and so the labor force payment decreased as many economists and entrepreneurs had to lower their prices as the economic status for China was decreasing."
Thank you, Grecia and Amilcar. And now we have Daniela Escalon, who will be showing global patterns, and Camila Vega, who will be talking about the regional changing patterns.
Today we're going to look at the global patterns of income increase throughout the years. This graph is showing many parts of the world represented by the colored dots. The light blue color is India, the red ones is China and Australia, orange one is Russia, yellow is America, green is the north part of Africa, and blue the southern part of Africa. This graph is showing how the life expectancy increases, the income increases as well. We're gonna see the relationship between these two factors throughout the years since 1800s. As we can see, they sort of fluctuate slowly. However, some of the circles are moving faster than others. In this case, the orange circles represented by Russia and Europe are moving much quicker than all of the rest of the circles. The slowest one being Southern Africa, which is barely moving at all. China, which is their country, it's between all of the circles. It's between the range, if you can say. And however, we can see the relationship that as time passes by, the income of the worldwide has increased as well. Thank you.
Yeah.
In about
economy of China is unique. A major portion of China's national income is found in rural areas. These places where some of the wealthiest people reside. In recent years, we have seen the income gap between rural and urban China grow wider and wider. This gap exceeding reasonable limits, and we show signs of a further worsening trend. When putting the urban personal income versus income per person of China, these are the results we got. The highest three regions of China being Shanghai, which had an urban personal income of $4,993 US and an income per person of $22,258. Followed by Beijing, which had an urban personal income of $4,841 US and an income per person of $14,840. Then we had Shanghai. Urban personal income of $4,417 US and income per person of $10,006. Then, when we put the rural personal income versus the income per person of China, we can see a difference. The three regions with the lowest results being Guizhou, which had a rural personal income of $476 US and an income per person of $1,920. Then we had Gansu, which had a rural personal income of $515 US and an income per person of $2,642, followed by Yunnan, which had a rural personal income of $541 US and an income per person of $2,815. We can say that the increase in inequality income in urban China was about 3% between 2000 and 2005. On the other hand, the inequality of income in the rural areas is considerably lower. And this we can see in the following graph, where we put the urban MD for 1,000 versus the income per person, and rural MD for 1,000 versus the income per person, which shows quite a difference. Urban incomes in China now average about $1,000 a year, while in the countryside, incomes averages just over 300 each.
After looking at those reports, we must conclude by saying that China's national income is rising along with its rapid economic growth. The number of Chinese who enjoy a fairly well-off and even wealthy lifestyle have increased, but unfortunately, the number of Chinese who remain in poverty has increased too, and the income gap between rural and urban Chinese has grown wider and wider. The average income per person in 1999 was of 5,854 yuan, which increased by 7.9% from the year before. But as the national income has increased, the income disparity between rich and poor has also grown. The contrast between rich and poor grows bigger every day. In truth, the gap between China's rich and poor first began to appear 10 years ago. The government is extremely concerned over the reasons for the disparities between rich and poor and have adopted numerous policies to address the problem, like the projects and investment which started this year. These investments range from 1 billion to 20 billion yuan to get instant results in terms of local production, employment, and income. On the other hand, we must keep in mind that the world's income disparities are an issue which worries most government nowadays. But that's all for today, and in our next show we'll be talking about employment and how it has changed over the year. So see you in the next show. Bye bye.